Finance Committee of September 14th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. Our first order of business is the approval of minutes, draft minutes of the August 24th, 2021 Finance Committee meeting.
I move approval.
Discussion? There's no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion passes. Next item, item 3, public appearances, non-agenda items. Mr. Yarbrough, do we have anybody on Zoom? We do not, and there is no one in chambers either. Moving on to item 4, the Finance Director report, and we do have our Finance Director, Misty Dodge, here, and the floor is yours.
Excellent. I just have a few things I wanted to give you updates on. First is at the next meeting, you will see a direct referral for the debt issuance, as we're still waiting for the resolutions from Bond Council, but we're ready to kind of kick off that process. So that will be a direct referral at the next one. Really what that does is it basically directs me to work with our advisors to get started on the process. So it's really housekeeping item, but it is that first step. This last week, I did the video with Fact TV about the stormwater rate increase. So those rates, if you recall, were effective on July 1st, but customers won't see it on their balance until the bills that come out at the end of this month. So we're really trying to get that word out a little bit more. So thank you to Fact TV for helping me put that video together. Hopefully we'll get it out on the website in the next week or so, and then we'll do the rest of the outreach coming up soon too. For ARPA, we still don't have final guidance. So I thought that it was expected to come out at the end of August, but I checked today and it's still not out there. Right now, what our plan is to do that spending plan I've kind of talked about in the first quarter of 2022, hoping that the information is released by then. And then 2022 budget is the big thing that's taking my time at this point. The document goes out next week, Friday. It'll be posted to the website, and I have to send the notice to the paper earlier in the week. So coming to wrapping that up. The thing I'd like you guys to be keeping in mind as council members, as we're thinking about the budget, is what increase are you okay with for the average home's tax bill? And just the city's portion, not the entire bill, but what % increase are you okay with as a council person? And just keep in mind, there's inflation, of course, everything always goes up. There's also that Fitchburg error that we have to address, and then we have the town of Madison. So the nice thing about doing the maintenance here on the assessment side this year is it's going to make that kind of, appetite for tax increases very easy to consider, because in most situations, the assessed value of the home will be the same from last year to this year. So we'll use that as a really easy way to see what that tax increase will be for the average home. So don't need answers now, obviously, but I think that's going to end up being a big part of the conversation as we go through this process. That is it.
Okay, very good, very good. Are there any questions? Yes, for Alder Gerhardt. Go ahead.
So for the ARPA, going back to the ARPA funding, so the plan is to do some planning in the first quarter of 2022, and then we will plan to do maybe some public hearings or public listening sessions around what people would like to do with that funding. Is that the plan?
Yes, I don't know how much listening sessions versus public hearings versus just, making sure that the opportunity is there for the public to weigh in on it. I'd like to incorporate some of that in there too.
Is that something we'll have a chance to discuss at council, or will the mayor and the staff just choose to schedule something, or just want to make sure that we have an opportunity to, because it's such an interesting opportunity for the city, it would be nice to have some listening sessions off-site at different places where it's easier to access for people that can't get to City Hall. So
Sure.
Just something to think about for our staff in the room.
Absolutely.
Very good. Any additional questions? Jim? No? Moving on to item 5, review of bills. First item, 5A, detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above for the period of August 16th through the 31st, 2021, totaling $1,774,681.20. I do have a question, and I know, Misty, when you and I met, I'm going to ask the same question. It's the very first item. If you could explain what Navient, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the one for $30,916.05. Just curious, or maybe the residents are curious as to what Navient is.
Yep, so Navient is
Navient.
a technology company, and the bulk of that charge is for OnBase, which is a software program that the city uses. OnBase is used for the agendas and the agenda packet, so you have all seen that there. We also use it in the finance department for all of our payment requests, our pre-approvals, our Pcard charges, all of that is a workflow through OnBase. I know HR is working on getting electronic files saved through OnBase as well, so it's very much so ingrained kind of in the city, although it is a relatively new software, I'd say in the last 4-ish years that's been implemented. So there's still new projects that we'd like to incorporate in it, but it is a key component of a lot of our processes. And I'll say from the finance department, I was very grateful that we had that software when COVID hit, because it really allowed the work from home and the seamless transition of information to happen. So, and that's the $30,000 then is just that annual charge for the software maintenance.
Is there additional charge throughout the year, a maintenance or a subscription or anything like that? Is it a one-time fee?
So this $30,000 is the bulk of it. You may see other charges for them as we are implementing those new pieces.
Sure.
We'll have to pay them for those as well, or if there's a new module or things like that, you'll see other charges for them. But that $30,000 is the annual maintenance for the base software that we use right now.
Very good. Additional questions?
No.
Okay, moving on, let's see here. Jump back down into the agenda. Item 5B, detailed review of all checks issued. Checks 122488 through 122526 for the period of August 16th through the 31st, 2021, totaling $1,843,070.71. Questions?
I actually have something I'd like to share on this one, if I may.
Yes.
So you probably noticed at the end of the report, there was a bunch of negatives with the V over to the right. Those were all of the voided checks. So every 2 years, we have to go through a process where we see any checks that we wrote that are uncashed. We reach out to the people that we wrote the check to, encourage them to either cash it or ask us to write them a new one. If we don't hear from them, then we are required to turn that money over to Dane County. So all of these ones are the voided voided checks that we did not hear back from, and then there'll be a separate check to Dane County for that exact amount, where we basically pass that responsibility on to them. It's the unclaimed property process.
So then it just goes back to the general coffer. Is it county or state, or I imagine ultimately it would be state?
So the county has certain requirements that they have to meet as well. So I don't know exactly how many years it is, but they have to do outreach, they publish it in the paper, they have a way for people to submit to the county to document that it's their money, and then they get it reimbursed from them. If that isn't done within some time frame, again, I don't remember what that is, then it goes into the Dane County general coffers.
Okay, but none of the dollars come back to us, though?
No.
Okay, it sounds like similar to sheeted funds and things like that, so, okay. Any additional questions from the committee? Okay, moving on. Item 5C, detailed review of Pcard transactions for $10,000 and above for the cycle ending August 6, 2021, totaling $85,724.76. Questions from the committee? Misty, any comment?
Nope, this one's easy.
Okay, all right. Moving on to 5D, review of Pcard transactions for the cycle ending August 6, 2021, totaling $230,118.89. Questions? Yes, Alder Gerhardt.
I have a couple of questions. The first one's going to be on page 29 of the packet, page 15 of the section. There's a charge right in the center of the page, or hybrid meeting development for $931. What does that involve?
So I believe that's the OWL. Have you guys heard about the OWL yet? So there's a device over in the other conference room that the city has, the Jeannie Sealy room down at the end of the hallway. We actually used it today for a meeting because I was virtual, and a couple other internal staff members were in person in that conference room. So there's this OWL. It's a device that can do a full view of the room and then also spotlights the person that's talking. It's a way to facilitate those hybrid meetings. And I think we actually are planning to get another one. It worked out fantastically. And it's not just for internal staff-only meetings, and we've had a couple with external people as well, just to make those hybrid meetings not quite as clunky.
So I'm just curious why the charge is happening now, because is it like a service charge, or?
So we actually bought the equipment now.
Oh, so we were renting it, but then
We didn't have it before.
Oh, okay.
After this meeting, if you'd like, I can walk you down and I can show you at least what it looks like, if you want to see. It's pretty cool, actually.
And I've got one more, if that's okay.
Oh, go ahead, yes. Mhm.
Page 32. On August 2nd, there was an Uber trip. So I'm just curious about that in terms of it being a P-card. I know with Uber, it's typically like you put your credit card on, it's tied to an individual. So do staff, I mean, I just don't know how that works in terms of not accidentally using it for a private ride versus a city use.
Yeah, so people do have to submit receipts to us. So we've had that happen in the past where somebody has accidentally used the city's card for an Uber trip because they had it saved in there, and then there's no receipt. They admit that it's personal and they just reimburse the city for it. This one, though, was for a conference that the fire chief was at.
Okay.
And then Chad brought, so this is the owl.
Oh.
So it's just, so this is a camera that's up here, and then the speaker is all around, so it can pinpoint who it is that's speaking. So when you have especially larger hybrid meetings, it's very helpful.
Further questions? Nothing? Okay. Moving on. Let's see, it's 5E. Detailed review of ACH payments for $10,000 and above, for the period of August 1st through the 31st, 2021, totaling $549,429.82. Questions from the committee? No questions. We will move on to the next item, item 5F, detailed review of all ACH payments, August 1st through the 31st, 2021, totaling $571.73, $571.73.85. I don't even know if I said that correctly anyway, but I think you know what I mean. Questions from the committee? Nope. All right. Moving on to the next action item 6A, Resolution R-93-21, approving revision 1 to the Dane County Cost Share Agreement, or agreement to fund the County Trunk Highway MM and Lacey traffic signals and intersection improvements. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Alder Wheeler. And who is addressing? Misty, will you address?
Yep, I can.
Go
So
ahead.
this is for the intersection at MM and Lacey. So it was a cost share between the city, the county, and the developer, the development that kind of created the need for this intersection to be improved. Back when this intersection was originally planned, there was a cost share agreement that was approved that changed one other time, and then learned recently that that cost share was different than what we thought it was going to be. So what we're bringing to you now is the new cost share agreement with Dane County that is the true amount that we're responsible for. So our share did increase, and that can be paid for from unbudgeted or unspent budgeted funding from the McKee Road project. So we'll transfer money from that project into this project to make up that difference that the city has to pay in addition to what we originally thought. And then because we're doing that transfer, this does take a 2/3 vote at council.
Okay, open it up for discussion. Questions from the committee?
Good.
Go ahead.
I guess my main question is, are we going to think about how we can avoid that type of contract misunderstanding in the future? My guess is that it's something to do with, there's been a lot of turnover the last couple of years, and something got missed along the way, which definitely happens. But is there a way that we can make sure that this doesn't happen again? Is that conversation happening amongst staff?
I suspect that it is. I'm not sure exactly what caused this difference to occur. I don't know if, Chad, if you have any more information. Otherwise, we can follow up with the director and get back to you.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Good, thank you.
I have a question.
Alder Wheeler, go ahead.
Misty, is there some type of formula that is used when we get into these cost-sharing agreements, like when we're dealing with intersections of who pays what and how much?
So that's all set by contract with Dane County. So I believe it's that the county will pay for half, but only in certain situations and certain types of costs. And that's where it gets complicated. So I don't know that detail as well. We can follow up with the director and get back to you on that too.
Okay.
Okay. Additional discussion? Hearing none, motion to a vote. All those in favor of Resolution R-93-21 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Next item, 6B, Resolution R-144-21, authorizing acceptance of the fabrication and installation of exterior wayfinding signage project bid, which was postponed from the August 24th, 2021 meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. And Misty, would you like to address as well?
Absolutely. So this was a project that was originally included in the 2019 capital improvement plan, but for a variety of reasons, the turnover that Gabriella mentioned earlier, that was kind of pushed aside. So now that's come back up. So these are wayfinding signs throughout the city in order to direct people to certain places that are in line with our brand. So it'll have the city's logo on it and be more accessible for people to know where they're going.
Very good, thank you. Let's open it up for discussion. Committee, any questions?
Gabriella? Yes.
Go ahead, Gabriella.
Thank you. I unfortunately didn't ask this at Transportation and Transit because I didn't realize it until I read it again, but there's quite a few signs. I mean, the signs in the bid specification are very specific. They're like, say exactly what they're going to look like. Several of them actually say postal station, and I know that postal station has since been eliminated. So is that something that we're going to have to see a change order in the future to fix that, or are those design specifications like changeable after we approve this budget item?
It's a really good question. So Economic Development, Joyce in particular, is the one that kind of coordinated this project with assistance from Public Works. And Economic Development is very aware of that postal contract station, so I'm sure that they're all over it, but I will definitely double check and make sure. We'd hate to print a sign to something that isn't in the same spot.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Chad.
Okay. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, with the postal contract station on Hatchery Hill closing August 3rd, city is still actively engaged with the Postal Service to try to bring that contract back to the Fish Hatchery Road, Hatchery Hill corridor. So it is certainly possible that those signs could still be utilized that are spec'd out. It's just a matter of, the timing of by the time they're ordered and installed. And I'm sure that they'll, as Misty said, pay attention to kind of that timing. Economic Development has been reaching out to the Postal Service on a fairly regular basis to get status updates and an understanding of what the process is to try to get that back there. So
I'm guessing those signs are fairly generic, that they can be posted at most any time during the year. If it's at one location and we move it to another location, they're just pointing in a different direction, to the correct direction. Yeah.
Well, most of the signs that I've seen in the specs actually have multiple things on the sign. So postal station's only one of several things on the signs. So I don't know if maybe there's some way to like have it up there and then like block it out so that people aren't being directed to a unused station. But
or a change order, as was mentioned. If that's not in play at the time those signs are installed, then maybe we'll do a change order, or at least build in to install something similar when the postal contract station, assuming it will be back in Hatchery Hill or in the corridor, whenever that comes back into play.
great.
Okay, additional questions? Okay, hearing none. Those in favor of Resolution R-144-21 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item, 6C, Resolution R-158-21, resolution to reject bid for site work, McKee Farms Park Inclusive Playground, postponed from August 24th, 2021.
Should I move to table this since this has already been voted and in council?
No, we should move to approve it.
Okay. So moved?
Okay. And Misty, would you like to speak to this resolution?
Yep, so as you mentioned, this is a little unique. It was approved by council at the last meeting, even though it was postponed by Finance Committee. Since this resolution was referred to Finance Committee should act on it. Really probably should have happened before the council meeting happened. But at the very least, if we take action, there isn't a different direction that would have been taken if they would have delayed it. So I would encourage you to approve it as amended by council, because I believe you amended it at the council meeting. So would you like to do a friendly amendment to, as amended?
Yes, I'd like to do a friendly amendment to amend as laid out in council, last council meeting.
Perfect.
Very good. All right, then I'll put the, is this twice then? The amended once and then,
Nope, since she made the original motion and then friendly amended it on her own, you just need one motion to pass
Okay.
it, or one vote to pass it.
all right, I'll put the motion to, well, we've had discussion, so let's vote on the motion before, that's on the floor. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The resolution, amended resolution passes, carries. Thank you. Moving on to action, and I just lost my screen. There it is. 6D, Resolution R-166-21, a resolution recommending an audit firm for the city's 2021-23 financial audits. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Misty, would you like to address this resolution as well?
Yes, please. So the 2020 audit that was done in 2021 was the last of a 5-year contract that we had with our current auditors. Generally, we would do an RFP at this time to, make sure the quotes are reasonable and go out to bid, basically. However, I'm proposing to the council that we do a 3-year extension with our current auditors rather than going out for quotes or out for bids. The reason for that is that right now we use Baker Tilly. We're very happy with them. We've actually been with them for a really long time. And the price increase that they proposed is reasonable, 3-ish% per year. Bigger reason, though, is because they are also the auditors for the town of Madison and the city of Madison. And in 2022, when we do that absorption, it will be really helpful from a reporting perspective if they are consistent across all 3 entities to make sure that everything is done the way that it should be from a reporting standpoint. Also would like to extend it through 2023, because that's when we have the full year of the town will be in 2023. But also we're hoping to have TID 6 and TID 4 closed in the next couple of years. And again, it would be much more streamlined if the same auditors that have done all of our work for the last 20 years also do that final audit that we're going to be required to do. So would like to request that we do an extension with them for those 3 years. The intention then would be we do an RFP, go out for bid the year after that.
Very good. Let's open it up for discussion from the committee. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll place the motion to a vote. All those in favor of Resolution R-166-21 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries. That concludes item 6. Moving on to item 7, announcements. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for September 28th, 2021. And moving on to action item 8, adjournment. Do I have a motion to approve adjournment?
So moved.
All right, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned at 5:55 PM.